All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that teaching His word in all true faith and sincerity. I'm the brother Barak, and I'm with the brother Dawada, and we're the Icon from the Great Millstone Church here in Birmingham. And today we just want to tie this lesson, the preservation and the time that we're in. That's is going to be needed, to be preserved despite the elements, the outside elements, so to speak. Matter of fact, before we start off on the lesson, can you just do a simple Google definition on the word preserve?
Good.
Because the time we in, this man, the so-called white man Esau is looking to devour us. You know, he feels that his kingdom is going down. It's a fight for power. You know, that's why you have these different laws and legislations and certain snares and traps to keep you in further derision.
So like Esau messing with the Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Well, matter of fact, I can actually look it up on my end. Let me see. Salakia.
Yeah, Lee.
The word preserve in the group, just the Google definition, it reads maintain in its original or existing state. And guess what? That's going to be begin with our minds. Our minds is going to be kept, and maintained through these troublesome times that we're in. Beginning now, man. People falling apart now and shit. Shit happening. You know, but when it's get real, ain't nobody got to expound to you what's going on, or it's finna get bad. See, that saying is even out the window now because it's already bad. It's only intensifying. You know, and the beginning stages of us being maintained and kept is going to be our mind. So you can start off with the book of Isaiah 33 and verse 6.
Good, not Salaki.
Good,
This
bro.
is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and well, he working overtime.
Yeah,
Had no problems at first.
hey, that's that fight, man.
Okay.
That daily reminder, yeah, I mean.
Uh, Good. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
See,
Hmm.
wisdom and knowledge. That's not something you put in your hand. It's nothing that's a tangible thing. That's an inward thing. That's something of mental, something you grasp with your mind.
Mhm.
And the wisdom and knowledge of Yahawah by small shot, us having this truth, will keep us stable in thy times. What are those times? The time of Jacob's trouble, man. These troublesome times that we're approaching, which we are in the beginning stages, is only going to intensify. Everything really here. Really, the only thing that's really left is the sea help being mandated. Because the war is already in place. You already got missiles lined up. They already pointed at America and everything. You know, so really the only thing really left is the mandate of that sea help. And that's what's going to stir a lot of things up. But as you can see, this wisdom and knowledge is going to keep us grounded, you know, and rooted in our Lord Yahawashi. To where when those winds blow and these turbulence come,
Mhm.
guess what? The house will still stand. You read that again, huh?
Kun. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times,
Mm-hmm.
and strength of salvation. The fear of the
See the
Lord.
strength of salvation. See, this is what's gonna. This is the bridge to us. This will contribute to our salvation. because having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is like having a cheat code, man. You know, because when the famine comes, guess what? It's a precept concerning in during the famine. You know, matter of fact, if you may, can you get just going back? It's gonna them precepts is what's gonna contribute to the salvation. Get on the book of Ecclesiastes, the second chapter, because even in times of old, you know, you had certain accounts written, and they actual events that took place, but it was written for our learning. You know, was that with Corinthians? Not Corinthians, Romans the 15th chapter, and that shows you too, because it said that we might have hope. Shows you that those accounts was, even though they actually had, it was prophetic as well, because hope is something that's from the future. You anticipating, you expecting, you know. So these same scenarios is gonna once again take place, but it's gonna be in its perfection. You know, there's gonna like how it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah was an example. So now the real thing is going to play out. So the precepts is going to contribute us holding fast to this word, and the wisdom and understanding is going to contribute to the salvation. That's going to be that outlet. The time of famine, you know, the evils. Well, guess it's going to be a precept to combat it. So you got it out. You got it, bro.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
Mm-hmm.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
See? So as you can see, it said looking at the generations of old, the records, read the story of Elisha, you know, Elijah, you know, the prophets of old, these different miracles that happened during the time our Lord Yahawashi, he and his plethora of miracles. You know, when even when the disciples later on they became the apostles, when they got locked up, guess what? We can go into the records and read the latter end. It wasn't a cliffhanger. We don't know what happened. We got to wait till a part 2 come out. No, we can read the latter end and see that these men was delivered. Why? Because they held fast to Yahawah Yahawashi, man. You know, have the Lord as their refuge and their hope, you know, as the answer. And we can read the latter end of it and see that these men was preserved. They was kept. They was delivered, you know. And the Lord is doing the same form today. But the bridge to that, the indicator, you know, the way to it is having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why I say it's going to be the strength of salvation. This is going to contribute to it, man.
That's it.
Because matter of fact, if I may, can you get the book of St. Luke, the 21st chapter?
Okay.
Because that was one thing that's gonna as I mentioned, the famine. Yeah, it's gonna be a bread and water, but answers as well, man. So just going back to being maintained, the first thing is gonna be our minds. Was this the beginning stages of we being kept from Christianity? You know, you wasn't sucked in by the spirit of Easter or some crazy shit. You know what I mean? But it's going to intensify when these perils come, when these lockdowns take place and the power outages. But you got it, out.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon earth the stress of nations with perplexity.
See, with perplexity. Well, that pretty much goes into to be puzzled. You know, you pretty much to be bewildered. You know, a lack of answers. You confused because of these signs that's taking place. You know, because they talk about the heavenly signs, the so-called UFOs, chariots. Let's show you what we at the end. Out of all these years, they coming out, they saying, yeah, it is. They got them now. It is such thing as a so-called UFO. Now they had to show you that what we at in this process, man. You know, but it said the stress and angles upon the earth with perplexity. You got it out.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
these signs contribute to our stability.
That's it.
It contributes to our faith. And we see the Lord said these things were going to happen before his coming. So it automatically, puts us in the mindset, well, he declared this. Guess what? He also declared preservation.
That's it.
It says,
if I may, Slack
here.
here. Just going back, you said contribute to our faith. What's that? Isaiah 51 talks about how our bread should not fail. We should not die in the pit. So as you just mentioned that how the Lord declared these troublesome times, it's a balance. He have declared salvation as well. You got to do it.
It says with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear.
See, they wasn't stable in the times, in them times during the distress and anguish. Oh, the return of Hamashiach.
That's it.
We in that process now. People falling apart. Because ultimately they wasn't built to see the salvation of the Lord. But it said men's heart failing them for fear. So that show you that's gonna be the first thing that's gonna go, man, is the minds of these people. When you go it's an old documentary called Shell Shock going to World War I, which that war revolutionized how war would play out on the earth, and you have the results of these soldiers, they coming back home and they was all fucked up, man, because they never experienced a grenade or seeing mustard gas take effect to a human. You know what I mean? A motherfucker getting blowed up. You seeing a plane coming out the sky. You know what I mean? But they was shell shocked. They was perplexed. They mind was gone, man. And that's what's going to happen to these people, man, when all hell break loose. When they robot dog do come knock at your door. And you thought it been a joke the whole time. That robot dog, these people going to lose it, man. But this, like you said, this is what contributes to our faith, us actually seeing it. Which we're going to be, it's going to be troublesome time. You in the flesh, we're going to be scared, but we have the comforter. Because the Lord is going to put a certain spirit on us to be kept, man. Even talks about how that advised counsel is going to be like a timber that's girt about that cannot be easily shaken, man. And as the advised counsel is having is truth. But as you can see, these people's heart is going to fail them for fear. Read that again, Op.
It says men's heart failing them for fear. And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
See, so for these things that's coming on the earth, they're going to fall apart, man. Because ultimately they didn't have this truth. This is what's going to keep us in these troublesome times. You can go back to that Isaiah 33 out. So now we know that this is the truth. This is the real resource right here. This is what's going to hold up in the troublesome times. Because he even talks about how money is a defense, but the excellency of wisdom give a light that to them that have it, man. Talks about how riches will not deliver you in the times of trouble. I mean, in the wrath of Yahawashi. So we're gonna know. We see that these are true riches indeed, but the value is gonna shoot is already through the roof, but it's gonna even be more valuable, as you can see when everything's starting to close in, and is this truth that's going to keep us through, man. Stable. You got it up.
This is Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. In wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation The fear of the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, is his treasure.
See?
Mm.
So this is the real resource because this truth is what's going to keep us. This is what's going to contribute to us being kept, our minds. So matter of fact, go back to that definition, to that word preserve. Because it starts, but it's going to increase, man. When all hell break loose, you know, the Lord is going to maintain us, man. See, you had doomsday purpose. They got a certain answer for these things. These Christians, they got an answer. But guess what? When that famine comes, a lot of them answers gonna fly out the door. Even with these doomsday purpose, they see an animal, they see a certain creature they never seen before,
Hmm.
and it eats the bullets that you shoot at it. Well, it's not going to be another answer. It's going to fly. They're going to ultimately they're going to succumb to it. They're not going to be kept. They're not going to be preserved from those perils. You got it a lot.
That word preserve, it says maintain something in its original or existing state.
Mm-hmm. Get some of them. Yep.
Con. It says conserve, protect,
Mm.
maintain, care for.
The
So,
Lord said he care for his elect.
con, that's it. It says take care of,
Mm.
look after, save.
See, man.
Yeah.
Oh, this says look after. Oh, them. What it talks about the Lord. The angel of the Lord camping around about them.
Mm,
Matter of fact, get that out.
yeah, con.
Cause we in them times, and it's finna get real intense, man. Especially when that karama comes.
Mm.
See that's gonna be the ultimatum right there. That's when the fork in the road is gonna really take place, man. I think
Fire
that
what?
34. I think that 34 and like Selma, I believe, or something like that.
Yep, that's it. That's spirit. That's heaven. Con. Psalms chapter 34 and verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him and delivereth them.
See,
Hmm.
it was another one. Is in the definite talks about how the Lord's gonna dispatch the angels or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. You know,
Con.
but that's going to be kept, man. And it said and deliver them, so meaning what? That it had to be a dangerous situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was danger in the midst. Oh, even when you read the book of Job, the 5th chapter talks about how the Lord's going to deliver us in 6 troubles. In the 7th, there shall no evil touch thee.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be in the midst of these troubles, but somehow, some way, through the grace, power of Yahawashi, Lord, when we're part of that number, we're going to be kept, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
especially when this devil comes with great wrath, when that law of the Karatma comes forth, because we in that season, man. Matter of fact, I'll get that. We can get that Revelation the 3rd chapter, because we in the season of the Karatma. That's why the only thing you hear in the news is CBDC this or digital that. The end of the dollar, and because we coming into uh, the finale, so to speak. The climax of the movie, these certain things are being set up. The setting is lining up, man. That's why you got 15-minute cities. You know,
Hmm.
it's an app for everything now. Oh, even the Fed now, you got the debt ceiling. Everything is right on schedule, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what you got a lot.
Con, if I may.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, everything is really lined up perfect, I mean, everything is right there. If they default, don't pass a debt ceiling and America all of a sudden goes bankrupt, man, get ready. And we right there. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
See, that's the same thing. Was that wisdom and knowledge, man? Holding fast to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Us keeping this, holding fast to this word. Because we did this to show you how vital having this truth is, man. This is nothing to just try to cut somebody with. You know what I mean? Boasting the law, you got all you friends, everything. It's not about that, man. This was going to lead to life, not to have you a Hebrew American. But it said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, you got it.
I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
See, our Lord Yahawashi said he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation, man. And what's that hour of temptation? When that C-hip is mandated. That's the only way you're going to be able to continue in this system with that thing. You can't go get no chips with it. Yeah, I mean, nothing. You got to have that thing to continue in this society, man. To buy and sell your records and everything will be on it. So then, meaning what? Now you gonna have to solely trust on Yahawah, which we in that process now. We'll no more leaning upon Him that smote us, but we stand upon the Holy One of Israel in truth, man. And it's gonna get to a point where those all the ties of Esau will be severed all the way, man. When that C-hip is mandated, you might have to go out the grid. And the Lord got your scenario lined up, man. But that's why we hope we those that are appointed to salvation, man. But the indicator is us possessing His word and hold fast and enduring to the end. As when you read in St. Matthew the 24th chapter. You got it out.
It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
See? So as you can see, it said this hour of temptation is going to come upon all the world. So do you see a heavy push on Christianity throughout the earth? No. The momentum is heading towards this digital system. Whether you hearing about Jamaica and the jam debts, or even Russia doing something with the ruble, it's always something concerning this digital transactions. This next phase, everything. This fourth industrial revolution. So that's what we seeing. These nations coming together on one accord concerning this agenda, man. And as I mentioned earlier, we can go into the records and read, these certain accounts of men that went through these scenarios that we're going through and going to go through, and we can read the latter end and see what happened, man. So, matter of fact, can you get Daniel the 3rd chapter, because that was a form of the hour of temptation when Nebuchadnezzar and that image was set up, and it was a decree to bow down. But we can read the latter end. You can actually start at the top. You can read the latter end and see that the Lord preserved the three holy children. You got it, Rawchaa.
This is Daniel chapter 3 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province, which, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
So as you can see, everybody was in on it. Everybody agreed to it. They came to the dedication of the image. That's what you're seeing now.
Hmm.
These nations is on is all on one mind concerning this digital system, man. You know, China. Yeah, I mean the digital you want. So this is where the momentum is heading toward, man. That thing. You got it, Rock.
Con. It says, then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud
And see,
to
it's in a herald cried aloud.
hmm,
Cause it's gonna get to you people by the way of these news stations,
mhm,
your apps, you got it.
Con. It says, then the herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up.
Okay, so that actually took place where there was an image that was set up, and they had when they heard the music, they had to bow down to it, you know. But in this time, it's gonna be a law written, a decree, to where you gonna have to have that device in you, man, for you to continue to play PlayStation and go to these
Hmm,
basketball games, or get you a Wendyburger, whatever. The show, you know what I mean? You gonna have to
mhm,
get that charagma, man, and that's you actually pledging your allegiance to this devil, man.
hmm.
You telling you making that statement that you're gonna serve him for the rest of your life. Was it the law of the all, so to
Yep,
speak? But
kind. I
it's
was
gonna
just
be the
thinking that.
digital all.
Yep.
So even the law is prophecy, and it's prophecy in the law.
Hmm,
But as you can see, this is prophetic right here. This is an actual account. This is a event that actually took place on the earth. This is not no campfire story or something you put in the coloring book. This is an actual event. But event is a prophetic event because now, as we just read in Revelation, the third chapter, this is going to be a global event to where it's going to be an image set up that Kurama to where these people going to actually have to stand in line and take that thing, man.
hmm.
You got it a lot. Matter of fact, you could actually jump down to start at like verse 8. Let me see.
Kind,
Yeah, start at 8.
kind. This is Daniel 3 and 8. It says, wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. Yeah. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. If I may,
Mm-hmm.
it started out with a decree, man.
That's
That's
it.
that's how Esau gets down. he understands the uh the way of this world system. You know, he's the last leg of that statue. You know, he upholds everything that these wicked nations have done, and then he magnifies it. So he's going to come with a decree. You know, as the brother said earlier. You know, he gonna write it in a law, and if you don't bow down to his way, you know, he's going to try and take us out, man. Right? It says, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
And that's what we're not gonna regard that. We're not gonna, cause you know these motherfuckers use that Romans the 13th chapter.
Hmm.
You know, be subject unto the higher powers. No, but we're gonna have to regard this decree. We're gonna have to regard that decree right now.
Hmm.
You know, as we jump down, they pretty much said, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah.
You know, that's why it says we're not too careful to answer the. We in that same spirit, man. That's why I talk about how that taunting proverb against the king of Babylon. This nigga already finished.
Hmm.
He coming up with this crazy ass law to try to seize control. This nigga finished, man. Fuck him. You got it out.
That's it. Fuck him. Shit, we know what's coming, man.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, this nigga, these threats, and you finished, man.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
that's it. this is this is Daniel. Hey, and that's the spirit. See, that spirit's like it. That spirit is being developed right now. That mindset, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So when all hell break loose, you know, going back to that Isaiah 33:6, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be the stability of our times, man. You know, fuck you, E. Your shit, we see your shit is crumbling. What the fuck you think? Oh, those seven brothers,
That's it.
they knew that that their latter end was going to be way greater than his.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel 3, Slacky. Daniel chapter 3 and verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Hey, his rage gonna come out great wrath with unto those that have the testimony of Yahawashi.
Mm-hmm.
Those that speak upright conversation. That's who this man's gonna show his anger and fury to. You know, because ultimately, um, this is this decree that he's you know, the decree of the Lord outdoes his decree, man.
Mm-hmm.
We saying he's done. He's saying no, I'm not, and we saying yes, you is. And he's seeing that he is being rejected now. He's withering.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about how can a rush grow without water? Yeah, because the Lord has allowed this man to run for so long, and now he's not being watered no more. Now we're seeing this withering process. Now this man coming, he's going to come down with great wrath. But he's going down. You see, he's going down against the three holy church, and those that have testimony. How was shot? You got it, Rock.
I got something for you real quick.
You got it, bro.
The book of Ecclesiastes, I believe let me see, chapter 14, and let's see, yep, verse 7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Just going back to how Esau is going to change, his visage. He's going to really try and target the ones who have the testimony of Yahawah. as we're reading in the records of Nebuchadnezzar, who is he targeting? He targeting the ones that they ain't gonna bow down to that image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
And if I may, this ain't just recorded for nothing, man.
Hmm.
This just ain't, like I said, motherfucker make a coloring book out of Daniel and the Lions Den, not knowing that was a serious account, that's actually going to be applied today, man.
Mm-hmm.
These things that actually took place, these are prophetic events too as well. Matter of fact, get that Romans the 15th chapter, Bible shot. Let's just get just because even in the scripture talks about that, and I believe that's the book of Psalms 81 talks about how Joseph and his account was a testimony.
Mm.
So that show you that event, that record was prophetic, man. It wasn't just written just to be written, and now they made a movie out of it, and that was it. No, that was prophetic as well, man. You got it out.
This is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Mm-hmm. So
That
meaning what? That those things we're gonna apply in this time. It wasn't just rent just to be rent. No, it was meant to be applied. You got it.
it says that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
Bible Kashah, look at that word hope. Let's see what that says.
Okay.
But as you can see, it says that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So they show you that it's gonna be situations where that's gonna your outlet is gonna be based on where when Peter was locked up, the Lord delivered him. You're gonna be in a situation where whatever account the Lord have set up, you can go back into it as a refuge, man. You know,
Hmm.
as I mentioned, what is Elisha
Mm-hmm.
when that Syrian host? It said a great Syrian host. So pretty much he threw the whole sink out. He sunk everybody out pretty much. And the Lord set up what this man in his understudy was invincible, man. Come on, I mean that's the best way. I mean you just got to cut. The Lord turned it tells you that they blinded the host from them, man. Meaning they became invisible for them to get out the city. So that might be the only aspect. That's the only outlet you got. You got some troops surrounded your house, and somehow you in your bed and I ain't see you.
Hmm.
You just said you might as well just go on let them grab you, and they didn't even see you, man.
Hmm.
But that's part of those through patience and comfort of the scripture. We might have hope because that might be our only outlet, depending on the situation. But you got it out.
Con. It's Strong's G 1680 for that word hope. It says expectation of evil, fear.
See, yeah, and that's that evil, that the devil coming down with great. Because when that sea hip comes, that's not going to be
Hmm.
like it's going to be a cool time. Now it's going to be a very turbulent time when that sea hip is mandated, man. You still waking up to your alarm clock. Everything is just still just to your regular schedule program. No, man. You got it a lot.
It says expectation of good, hope.
See? Because guess what? In the scriptures, it talks about destruction and wrath. But guess what? The Lord talks about those deliverance and being kept and preserved. You know, uh, I believe I quoted earlier in the book of First Thessalonians, the fifth chapter talks about how the Lord have not appointed us to wrath,
Mm-hmm.
but to obtain salvation, man. See, that's in the scripture, like, the Lord talk about the famine. Then he talks about the Lord's some they're gonna be the elect is gonna be kept in the famine. How the Lord's gonna bring forth the sword. Talks about how the elect is gonna be kept from the sword, from the beast. Talks about how it says on the scripture says, "Thy tabernacle shall be in peace." That's the house of David, man. And is the indicator, the gauge is those that walk according to this rule, those that possess this word, man, this truth, this doctrine, because that's the only thing that lines up with everything that's taking place on the earth. This doctrine only, this is what makes sense of the world that we live in, man. The reality that we see. Now you see why Russia is in Ukraine. It makes sense now. What you got it out.
It says, in a Christian sense, joyful and confident expectation of eternal salvation.
That's heavy right there.
If I may,
Con.
that's what our hope is, man. We are confident, with faith that our expectation is going to be eternal salvation, man. Those are the things we know that Yahawashi is going to do, and that's why our hope lies it.
And if I may, just going back, that word expectation, that's a future tense word. That's a word that's meant for future tense. So just going back, these things are prophetic. That's the gauge. As we read in Daniel the third, that's like a gauge. But the latter end, we're expecting there's a hope at the end that will be kept and preserved from these things, man. You got it all out.
It says, on hope, in hope, having hope. It says the author of hope,
Mm.
or he, or he who
Yeah, see,
is.
that's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's heavy right now, because now we can hope now. We got, when all hell break loose, we hope to be delivered. We hope to be kept from the family. We ain't gotta uh, be carnal or be reduced and take and go to Esau.
Mm-hmm.
No, the author of hope, the Lord really set it up to where we can hope, because guess what? That's gonna happen, and we know what's gonna happen at the end. They will say because they trusting in Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi.
It's like,
You get it.
it says, what ye prisoners of hope, turn
Oh
to the
man,
stronghold.
that's it.
That stronghold is this truth, man. Having that renewed mindset, and those things are going to grow into hoping. Everybody ain't gonna hope in the things that the elect is going to hope for.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to be, as we going into, preserved from the said perils, the teeth of wild beasts, the famine. Their mind is not even geared to asking the Lord of those things, because they haven't been enlightened to His plans and purposes. Right? It says the author of hope, or he who is its foundation.
Mm.
I go back to what you had mentioned earlier, that Matthew 7, the winds blew, but
Mm.
that foundation, that which is Yahawashi, it kept that house. It says the thing hoped for.
That's it.
Down here in the Strongs, it says expectation or confidence, faith, hope.
Yeah, and all that is prophetic. All those are future tense words. All that is really the spirit of prophecy. Expectation, confidence is which goes back to with faith, hope. All those are things that is meant for the future. You hope this happen. You don't hope for something that happened yesterday.
Hmm.
You hope. something concerning that's the future. You know,
I got a little bit more on this Strong's. I just seen
huh?
it. It says to anticipate,
Mm.
usually with pleasure.
See, and that's that's our desire is to be saved,
Mm-hmm.
is to be kept from these troubles, man.
Hmm.
That's our desire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are anticipating. It talks about that. The Lord. Uh, Matter of fact, I don't want to butcher it. Can you get Psalm 145:18, Baba Gashah?
Amen.
Because this is part of our desires to be delivered and saved. We know these things is coming. We was given a report. Lord showed us these things, and now we know what to pray for.
Mm-hmm.
We know what to ask for. Lord, keep us. You got it out.
This is Psalms chapter 145 and verse 18. The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon him,
Mm-hmm.
to all that call upon him in truth.
See, that's the separation in truth,
Mm-hmm.
and that's by us holding fast to His word. You know, believing in a report, because that come with a certain spirit. You're gonna call on Yahawashi in a certain way now, since you know that famine coming.
Mm-hmm.
See, you know, you just thought, T-shirt and fringes with the NRB all. You ain't calling upon the Lord in the truth. You got it out.
It says, for he will preserve the desire, excuse me, for he will fulfill the desire of them that fear him.
And what is that desire? You got it.
He also will hear their cry and will save them.
See that that cries us being the Lord overthrowing this place, and for the kingdom to come, for us to be kept from these troublesome times. But that's our desire, is to be saved. Oh, it talks about that. Um, so like your Proverbs, it talks about how hope deferred maketh the heart
Oh, yeah.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
But when the desire cometh,
Hmm.
is the tree of life. It was our hope. Just going back, as you mentioned, that Isaiah 51, that we should not die in the pit. We hastening into the coming of Yahweh Shemashai. But in that, we hope the Lord preserve us.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, continue on that.
It says, he, Slakia, verse 20, the Lord preserveth all them that love him.
See,
Hmm. But all that, Slakia.
and that love Him. See,
Hmm.
but it's by the way of this truth, man. Yahweh Shemashai present Himself. We hold fast to the Lord, and this is a form of us showing loving the Lord, feeding the sheep.
Hmm.
Meditating upon His word. Cause we all the way in with this, man. But it said he that's who He's gonna preserve. That's why it says all them.
Hmm.
You got it out.
It says, but all the wicked will he destroy.
See, but all the wicked will He destroy. And especially over here in the land of America, hey, it's one or the other, man. To be delivered or to be destroyed, because this whole landmass is destined to be on fire. This is the lake of fire, and it's on preheat right now.
Yeah.
And when that thing, and when it come, it's gonna come, man,
Hmm.
in an hour. You know what I mean? You know, but America is a lake of fire. This place is destined to be totally destroyed. You know, so matter of
Talking about
fact, you
that
can go
Daniel.
back out. You
Con.
ask, huh?
No. Daniel 3, right?
Yeah, go back to Daniel the third chapter. We
Con.
can probably I see the time now. Matter of fact, jump down to start at 15.
Con. This is Daniel chapter 3 and verse
So
15.
now they was presented before the king, which and that's going to have to take place. We're going to certain of us going to be taken before, these governors and princes, and
Mm-hmm.
you might be in the same room with Bill Gates or somebody, a mouthpiece of the Rothschild, somebody that come from the elite, Biden. Ain't no telling who you'll be, you know what I mean? But it's going to be somebody of ranking status,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But it's just like how I know the elder Aaron he mentioned that like an old James Bond movie, you in a room with the villain, and this
Yeah.
nigga coming up with a speech. Like, hey, that's what Nebuchadnezzar was doing and shit.
Yep.
Like that shit heavy, man. Like you see it, like this man coming, he having a whole conversation with this man, with these men, and
Hmm.
and that's why would they do that? But it's
Mm-hmm.
all for the dramatics, man. This is the work of Yahawashi. But hey, just going back, they was presented before Nebuchadnezzar and his men. You know, you got to know what.
Con. It says, now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image.
See, and that was their hour of temptation. That was their moment right there.
Hmm.
We all gonna have that moment, that thing when that thing is presented unto us, man. You know, we all gonna have that moment, that hour of temptation where is a intimate. It's gonna be intimate to where it ain't gonna be no oohs and ahs. It's just gonna be Yahweh Shema outside and your inner man playing out. You got it.
Con. It says, which I have made well, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to present that to you. If you do these things, it's going to go well with you. But
Mm-hmm.
we know it's not going to go well, you know. But in this case, he's trying to present it's going to be well with you. You won't get tossed into this fiery furnace. You know, it says, "But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?" That's a lot of pride, boy.
Yeah, man.
It
Hey, and guess
says,
what? We get hey, and we know it's Yahawashi, man. We
mm-hmm,
just read in Revelation the 3rd chapter. Yahawashi, he said he's gonna keep us from that hour of temptation. He's gonna keep us from that moment. Lord, when we part of that righteous number, man. You know, when that time comes, that thing is presented, you're gonna have a spirit of resilience on you, man. Tell that man, fuck you, man. Or however you know, because hey, that was a bad line, these men. Matter of fact, continue. I don't want to.
Con.
Yeah.
It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
Hey, see, so they weren't finna bite their tongue, man. Oh, the
Mm-hmm,
scripture talks about don't be too careful.
mm-hmm,
I know that it's one of the writings of the Apostle Paul, but it talks about don't be too careful, man. But as you can see, they wasn't finna bite their tongue because it was Nebuchadnezzar. No, this is the decree of Yahawah by Shema Shah. This is that's the first commandment, man. Won't have no other gods before me, man. How dare you?
mm-hmm.
And this devil is doing the same thing. He now this man has created his idol. This his technology. That's the new idol. That's why everybody fucking head all the way down, looking at their fucking phone, bowing down to the phone and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they really just bound down to the slaughter. They really is really preparing for the slaughter.
Mm, that's
You
heavy.
got to go out.
Neck down. I mean, head
Yeah,
down and the neck
that's
up. That's heavy,
it.
bro. Ooh. Cuz this is Daniel chapter 3 and verse 17. It says, if it be so, Our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace,
Mm-hmm.
and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O King.
See, and that's the confident expectation we have, man. In the
Mm-hmm.
spirit by Yahawashi, when these things take place, you know, that's why we got the records. And yes, we in the flesh, of course, but hey, the Lord gonna put a certain spirit on us, man. Just going back to how first thing that's gonna be taken from these people is their mind, but as we just read in preservation, it says maintain.
Mm-hmm.
In Isaiah 33, it says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. So when these troublesome times come, when you ain't ate in a couple of days, that precept still in your mind. Then suddenly you stumbled upon that and more. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just like how the scripture said, man. But that's the confidence in the Lord. It tells you it's good to hope and wait upon Yahawah Shema Shai because confident in the Lord that He's going to come through, man. You got it out.
Con. It says, but if not, be it known unto thee,
See,
O
and
King.
if I may too, it's meaning what if they gotta die,
Yeah.
because it tells you to be faithful unto death as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be very intense. Near death experiences, or you might have to die. The Lord gonna put a certain spirit on you. Even Stephen, you read that account. Hey, it to the point the spirit was on his man Stephen that he was saying he see the Lord, and they got even more pissed because it seemed like he wasn't even feeling it. If you read the account, hey, this man he was saying that he see Yahawashi, and they got even more angry, and they gnashed upon him because they were stoning him. In the midst of stoning, you know it would proceed that he wasn't even feeling it, so they got even more angry, man. So it was a certain spirit on them, man, and it was a certain spirit on these men when they came. They boldly uh, stood against this man, in that decree. They didn't regard it. No, I said we weren't careful to answer you in this matter concerning this matter. Fuck you and this idol, man. Fuck Esau, fuck you, man. Because at the end of the day, you the devil, man, that the Bible speaks of, and every day it shows. And especially when that decree brings forth, like as you poured out Ecclesiastes the 14th chapter, it
Mm-hmm.
tells you at the end he's going to declare his wickedness. So Esau, at the end of the day, Esau is the devil, man. And everything he brings forth is death. So of course we ain't gonna guard that decree. The sea hill, that's a downgrade. If anything, you reduce to that,
Hmm.
you got it a while.
Con. It says, but if it be, so like it, but if not, be it known unto thee, O King, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
See, and it's taking that same stance, man. You know, and it was a certain spirit on him. You got it a while.
Con. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont. Excuse me, that it was wont to be heated.
Hey, and just as I mentioned earlier, that's how this man's gonna come to those that have the testimony of Yahawashi.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned earlier Elisha and how it was a great Syrian host out just this one man. This man sent the whole army for one man. Oh, even our Lord Yahawashi, when he was just a baby, man, infant child, Herod sent the army after him, man. So it was more intense. So you might have to get it. You might be running to a fucking Pokemon or some shit, or one of them Terminators, a robot dog. Cause this devil probably got your face recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a Terminator coming after you, and it ain't like that's something that's out there. You know what I mean? Cause this nigga got ain't like he just made the move, just a thought, a what if moment. No, this nigga actually shows you that. You look up, you go into Boston Dynamics and how the Pentagon is actually funding that company, and and that's concerning robotics. You know, and you might see a video of them dancing and some shit, but really they just show you how agile they can be. You know, they get with the scrap in their hand.
Hmm.
You know, and there's videos out there with that too. You know, but it just shows you that the sword is being sharpened, man, as well, and it's going to have to take divine intervention. It's going to have to come from on high, man. This help, you know, is going to be Yahawashi, man. At the end of the day, as we just read in Revelation the third chapter, and this nigga Nebuchadnezzar threw that out there, like, what God is going to save you from this moment, from this?
Hmm.
No, it's going to be Yahawashi, man. You got it out.
Con. It says, verse 20, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in
See,
his. Yeah.
the most mighty men. So they show you this man's gonna be a more intense for those that got this truth, man. You know, this ain't nothing to take like, man, because this is a form of us waging war on Esau, us having this word and declaring it. We saying that we rule. We supposed to be ruled. We gonna rule. Your kingdom is up. So this man, that's why he's gonna send the most mighty men. You got it.
Con. It says they were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
So they were tied up. They were tied up and everything to where they was it was no way to get out in a carnal sense.
Mm, mm, mm.
You got it.
It says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Hey, that's heavy, man. Man, that's heavy. You got it.
And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Uh-huh.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, Did we not did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king.
Uh-huh.
He answered and said, Lo, I see four men loose, walking.
Mm. See, you got it.
Walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the son of the Most High.
See,
Mm-hmm.
so just going back to that, the Lord answered Nebuchadnezzar, man, concerning that power was going to save them. Yahweh shot, man, and for you Old Testament heads, who is that, man?
Yeah.
Who is that? That's concerning our Lord Yahweh shot, man. Continue on that because just going back, the preservation, man, being preserved. You know, they was thrown in a furnace. And next thing you know, they look up, they see four men in there walking in the furnace. Continue.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire.
So
And
they in the fight, and you can actually, what is it, prayer Azariah?
mm-hmm,
When you can go into when they were actually in the fire, man, and they was praising Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi the whole time, man. You know,
mm.
you got it out.
It says, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power,
See, you got it.
nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
See, and they was that's the sense of being preserved, that preservation, just like a mason jar. You
Mm-hmm.
got some apricots. You know what I mean? Is preservatives. Is you preserve it. So as you can see, they was though these men was thrown in the midst of the fire, they ain't come out and their clothes was you know what I mean, burned or charred. It tell these men to even smell like no fire, man. And that's just going back to Job, the field chapter. Matter of fact, we can you got anything out, we can wrap it up on
No.
that.
Kind.
On Job 5 and I believe there's 19, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Just going that being preserved, man. Because as you can see, these man didn't even have the smell of smoke on. Intense as this fire was, as hot as it was, those mighty men that threw them in the furnace got burned up.
Hmm.
Somehow they walk out the fire and don't even smell like they been near, man. You got
It
it
says,
out.
This is Job chapter 5, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
See, and that's concerning the destruction, the missiles, man, the second death, man, which have no power. To the, concerning those that's of the elect, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same thing. That furnace, see, we even got a smell of the furnace on us. You
Hmm.
know, would you got anything else out?
No, no.
So yeah, Akim, man, we just hold it with edifying. We like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Like to say shalom to the elect that teach His word in all true faith and sincerity. DTA,
About,
Abba,
about.
Abba, soon,
Soon.
very soon.